Hey guys, welcome back to a very late Q&A number 9. Sorry, I had a very busy weekend. Finally getting around to this. It's Sunday night while I'm recording this. I usually do this on Thursday, so I apologize for the lateness on this. So let's just get to it. First question comes from COD Gamer Dave. What do you play most system-wise? I've been on my PC a lot mostly. Typically, though, I was on my PS3 a lot before that just because Infamous had come out. It changes all the time. So right now there's kind of a lull in gaming, so I've been playing a lot of the Summer of Arcade stuff on the 360, but PC is always there with sales, and I've been playing a lot of Bad Company with Matt and Kale, and soon to be Lyle. Next, RF Maganana. What has been your favorite best video ever? I think it was our most recent one, actually. Oh, there's so many, but first off the top of my head, it was one of the ones James Edgar did. You have to watch the whole thing. It was a Deus Ex recut. And if we haven't used it yet, it has to have been something from Spore Out. If you get a chance, watch Spore Out. Those are always hilarious. Lee_Win, would you rather Halo 4 was announced by itself instead of being announced as a new trilogy? Yeah, sort of. I guess this is just 343 stepping in saying, look, we have a handle on things. We're kind of doing what Bungie has already done, so they don't want to scare people off with just saying, hey, here's a new Halo. If it doesn't do well, sorry. I guess they're trying to flex their confidence level. I apologize for the cars going by. I have my window open. It's very hot right now. Jake Bender, what is your real name? Adam Kovic. Corey Clark, YC93. Would a MacBook Pro that has Boot Camp running Windows 7 be able to play any PC game? Thank you, Mr. Kovic. Depends on your model of MacBook Pro. I had a 2007 version. I believe that was the Santa Rosa model. Could not play stuff very well. Newer MacBook Pros, though, like the ones my fiance has, she has like a 17-inch one her work has. That could even play stuff just via Steam through OS X using us. You can play like Team Fortress 2, Counter-Strike, stuff like that. I don't know, though. I highly recommend just going with a PC if you want to do PC gaming, because Macs are very expensive. I love Macs. They cost a lot of money, especially for the youngins. Skylar Wittes, what is the greatest present you have ever received in your entire life? It's a really good question. Off the top of my head, a really cool one I got was the Battlestar Galactica DVD set that my fiance got me. Totally cool. Came out of nowhere. Love that gift. Love that gift just because that's a show her and I like a lot, and it was just had a lot of meaning, had a lot of value to it, and I cherish it to this day. Nunman227. It may have been asked already, but do you watch any LPers commentators regularly on YouTube in your spare time? I do from time to time. I'm so busy at work lately. I do like to watch what people are talking about, saying about. I used to watch Hutch, seen Anders a few times. I really like Total Biscuit, though I don't know if that's really a commentator. He does the Q&A stuff, kind of like how I do here, but he goes very in-depth on like one or two questions, whereas I'm like rapid-fire. But yeah, I mean, not totally all the time. I wish I had more time to watch stuff. If you hear me typing right now, that's me opening a notepad, because actually someone else had a question. I wanted to make sure I got it. Next question comes from Cool Killer. Do you think Machinima would not be as popular if they went by, quote, machine cinema, end quote? Also, I love yours and all of Machinima's work. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know. I never thought the name Machinima would actually go anywhere. It's such an obscure typo, really. But who knows? Maybe. It'd probably be easier to find. I don't know. Or easier to say. I can't say. I have no idea. Next, Plasma Snake 13. Do you have any info on this year's IGAs? I'm coming in December. Can't wait to meet you. FYI, I'm in the director's program. Smiley face. I have no idea what we're doing for this year's IGAs. We haven't even been talking about it. We're just trying to get through the rest of this year. And can you imagine the amount of coverage we already have to do? And I'm trying my darndest to actually play all those games so that I have a somewhat a general overview of all the games coming out, so my vote actually means something when we vote on the games. But I have no idea. I'm hoping we actually open it up more to the fans and the public, and not just making it like a, invite only sort of thing. I hope we get a bigger venue, but I'm going to push for that. Like, hopefully we get a bigger place and more people can come by, though that's going to be a problem for the open bar, I know. Titty, T-Y, how are you today? Pretty good. I saw Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which is a terrible title, but a really good movie. Met an old friend who's moving to San Francisco, sadly. Good to see him, though. Guy I grew up with, just got married. Pretty good day. Ate at Porto's. If you've ever been there in North Hollywood, it is delicious. The Venetian 14, why is that tattoo in your arm so badass? It's more of on my arm instead of inside, but I designed it myself. If you guys like it, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Got it when I was 20, so about 6 years ago, almost 7. The Grassy Bush, if you could be a crazy walrus for a day, would you? Of course. It's only for a day. M40A3OCST, what is the square root of an apple? No idea. The Venetian 14, on your arm. Hashtag epic fail. Sorry, dude, I read these in order. Ryebread8594, what is your favorite game soundtrack, excluding Guitar Hero type games? Shoot. People always ask this question. This kind of goes back to last week's Q&A when someone asked me what my favorite game of all time was. Metal Gear Solid 1 has that song on the PS1 when you're going through the credits. It's really kind of just sad, kind of like chant kind of song. If you can find it, I'll try to link it. But it is seriously like one of my favorite soundtracks is the Metal Gear Solid 1 soundtrack. When it got very orchestral, the music's always fantastic, but I thought the first one really nailed it in terms of just a overall soundtrack. It was beautiful. Bastion soundtrack this year is excellent too, by the way. I highly recommend checking that out if you guys need to. And that's all I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sorry. Sarah song, do you herp when you derp? Only on Wednesdays, possibly on Saturday. Conjo Ken, do you believe into aliens? Of course I do. Well, kind of. More on that later. King Mofo 6277, what do you expect will be added to Halo 4? Things like armor abilities, weapon attachments. Big respect for what you do, Adam. Oh, thanks, dude. I don't know. I imagine they're just gonna kind of go off of what they started with Reach and maybe scale it back a little bit. We saw it, the Ava pack in the trailer. It's not a jetpack really, it's kind of like a thruster for Zero's G space, so probably going to see some Dead Space like action, probably like Dead Space 2, that Zero G stuff. Maybe weapon attachments, that'd be really cool. Customize your armor, stuff like that. We'll see. I have a huge crazy theory about where Halo 4 is going, and I hope we get to see some even crazier stuff if they're going the way I think they are. A Predator, do you have any animals? If so, what? I have 2 cats. One I got a long time ago, and the other one was a bit more recent. They're cool. I love them. Darth_Solitis, if you could make a machinima about anything, what would it be about? I have a really good idea about this. Maybe I'll pitch it to you guys randomly. I don't know if this is supposed to stay at work, whatever. I have this idea for a show called Celebrity Spacesuit Adventure. It's a Halo machinima about 3 characters who survive the Rapture after everyone on the Earth has been taken to the heavens or hell, we don't know. And they have to roam the Earth, and they are controlled by a puppet, who's God. God's the puppet, of course. And he tasked them with killing celebrities who have survived the Rapture, but they're like demonized and they're crazy. And so it really just becomes a Monster of the Week type show. And it's really just based on current events. So you're just talking about the celebrity of the week. So a couple weeks ago, it would have been, who's that dead bitch? Amy Winehouse. And I don't know, this week, Kim Kardashian talking about her wedding dress or something like that. And it's really just a way to do an improv, half written show using puppets, of course, and Halo Machinima, which I love. So if I have more time, I'd love to work on that. If you guys want to hear more about that or you want to see that, complain to the people I work for so I get some time to work on it. I'd be happy to do that. Rude Warrior 83, excited for Skyrim? Question mark. Favorite new thing, least favorite. You know, I just beat Oblivion not too long ago, so it's still kind of fresh in my mind, but I don't think I got enough out of it. I kind of rushed through it just to get the story and everything. I haven't really done a lot of the side quests or the DLC. But I still need to play that, so I don't really know change-wise, but I'm totally excited for Skyrim. That's really why I played The Elder Scrolls 4, just because I wanted to, kind of catch up and see what's going on, and I could see a lot of the issues with the game. I used a lot of the mods on the PC to fix the supposed problems, UI fixes, graphics, stuff like that, texture packs, whatever. There was that unofficial patch that came out that supposedly made the game better. But everything I've seen so far looks really good. There's that 1 hour video, or it's like 40 minutes of stuff that leaked from QuakeCon. Actually, I have it sitting on my hard drive right now in HD. I put a file link out for you guys yesterday. Hopefully you downloaded it. But I cannot wait to watch that because the game looks freaking epic. Skylar Wittes again. Do you ever vote? You don't have to tell us who you voted for. I'm just wondering if you bother with voting or not. I voted a few times. I believe I voted for marijuana to be legal in California. I just think it's a silly law that it's even illegal. I mean, even in the current state, it's just kind of a dorky thing. I did vote for Obama. Take that as you will. I don't know. Thought a black president would be awesome. And, of course, nothing changes. Who cares? And I voted for Schwarzenegger in the early days when I was a kid. Supposedly he was going to make colleges better. I don't know. I'm kind of apathetic when it comes to voting. And I just kind of do whatever loved ones are doing. I don't know. I don't know if it's that big of a deal, or maybe you guys will hate me for my political thoughts, which is funny because in my mind I'm actually technically Republican. I vote more conservative, but then I vote a lot of Democratic stuff like, legalize weed and vote the black guy in. I don't know. I am a odd fellow like that. Brig Guy 100. If you had to pick one type of game to play forever besides FPS, what would it be? I think I've said this before. Chess. Chess you can play forever. Possibly solitaire. Selviet. Favorite food. Oh, people always ask me this. I don't know. I love Chinese food. And Thai food. Damn it. Those are two different things. Brant Recon. What's your graphics card, RAM count, and your processor chip? I'm considering upgrading my tower, and your setup seems very nice. You can actually go to my Tumblr page. It's adamspc.tumblr.com. It's just adamspc. That's actually the exact parts that I got and CNanners got when we built our PCs. He created the wish list. I just copied it and bought everything off that list. So he and I practically have identical PCs, sans, a couple different hard drive modifications here and there. But if you want to go there and build the PCs we did, go ahead. It's a beast for at least another year or two, so check it out. Liam Roberts 93. With the Wii U releasing next year, when do you think MS and Sony will release their console, and will the Wii U be obsolete? I imagine Microsoft will announce their new console. Should be this year's E3. I'm sorry, not this year's, next year's. Sony maybe, but probably not. They're probably going to give it another year. At next year's E3, they're probably going to show a PS Vita and PlayStation integration similar to the Wii U. And then the year after that, so what is that, 2013, we'll see the PS4. And then what was the question? Blah, 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 blah. I don't think the Wii U is going to be obsolete because it's really just it's almost like the iPad and the iPad 2. It's a minor upgrade since you can still use the Wii controller and stuff like that with the Wii U. I think Nintendo is starting to think more like Apple in terms of their home consoles, not so much with their handhelds. They did that whole 3D thing, which I still need to buy because I want to play Ocarina of Time. Sorry, I'm going off a tangent here. Anyway, I think the Wii U is going to be fine. It looks like they're trying to get more into the hardcore gaming scene, which is very interesting. And they're now going to be competing more with the 360 and PS3, which are, two consoles that are in dire need of a reboot. But, all I really want is Nintendo games in HD. That's all. That's without having to run an emulator on a, crazy PC or anything like that. And Nintendo stuff will be fine. I don't know if people are going to buy the tablet thing. I don't know. Just give me a standard controller that's wireless. That's like a real controller, and I'll be happy, Nintendo. Please just do that for all of us. Kearney, do you think esports will ever transition to old media in the US, or would you agree it is more suited for online? Totally agree. It should be online because it is a new type of medium. I said like media and medium. Sorry, it's like it's a new form of entertainment. And I think the people who understand it the best clearly are the guys who are playing those games, or they're watching people who, oh, look, this guy's playing StarCraft. I've played that before, and holy crap, this guy's way better at StarCraft than I am. Same thing with Halo and Call of Duty, stuff like that. It's you're enjoying watching someone doing something that you could do, but they're doing it much better. And I think games are an interesting breed, especially for the audiences, because I feel like it can actually tap a much wider audience. And personally, I responded to someone earlier today. I want to be covering more esports now just because it's blowing up. More so than it ever has, and I think it's a very interesting world, and I'm not so much following it day to day, but I know there are people out there, so maybe we find a correspondent or someone who's giving us up-to-date details on what's going on, because I only know about MLG when it's in town. I'm not really following it in other states or anything, but we totally should, and I think it's only going to get bigger, and it probably doesn't belong on TV. I just don't think it's that kind of thing. You want to watch it in, just kind of on your computer while you're doing other stuff. Or maybe with your friends over, who knows. We could have a big StarCraft party where we just watch a bunch of dudes playing RTS. That actually sounds kind of cool. Jax on McRae. If you had a third nipple, would you embrace it? Might have to cut it off. What's it called? A nubbin? I only know that because of the show Friends. Sad. B Penguin Fire. Is replayability a factor for you when getting a game? Less so than it used to be. I kind of want to just get through a game now because I want to just finish it and then go back, maybe go back, but I want to move on to the next game as quickly as I can. So, but it is a huge factor for someone who is throwing down $60 on a new title and they're maybe only going to buy one game a year. I think that's why multiplayer is a huge component, but more so now than ever, I'm really into single player games. And because I realize I can't be good and compete online with everything because there's so many different games, and by the time I get used to one game, I'm terrible at the other. So I could be really good at Halo, but then I'd be bad at other games. So I'd rather be somewhat decent at a whole range of games than really good at just one, because I find I can enjoy more things. Hope that makes sense. Malicious Hero. Do all the Machinima people act like they do on camera? Are Sark Hutch actually crazy? Is Realm really as entertaining off camera? Let's see. Right off the bat, Sark and Hutch, they're probably a bit more laid back in real life. Hutch especially. He's a very quiet guy. Sark, a bit more reserved, but they still act out. That's kind of how they are. Everyone kind of acts themselves. No one's really a character. Well, everyone's a character, but no one really is, as cartoony as you really see them. In Realm, funniest thing, I think Hundar is the most laid-back guy I know. He's just normal. It's so strange to see him on camera because he gets crazy. And he's one of the more entertaining guys at the office, I feel like. He goes nuts. Not to downplay anyone else because everyone's so funny, but I think he takes it to such a crazy level. Is just to see him normal, and then to see him in a trash can, eating a hamburger, is just nuts. So I hope that clears some stuff up. Coleman CGS. How hard do you think it is to get a job/office at the Machinima office? To get a job right now is a little crazy because we're in this kind of nutty transition period. The place is growing like crazy, and there's a lot of crazy deals in the works. Obviously I can't talk about, but we're doing a lot of things, and who knows, maybe in a year or two when things kind of cool down and there's not those growing pains anymore, it might be a little bit easier. I know we're doing more of an intern program. I'll have to look into it, but like I said, I'll announce more stuff if we're doing an internship for you guys, because I know you all want to work there, and I totally get it. When I was young, I wanted nothing more than to work at G4. I'd watched it on TV, and I was like, that is the perfect place to work. Oh my god, and I worked so hard just to get in there. And the first thing I did was, back in the day when Kevin Rose left, they were doing auditions to see who could be the next co-star for Attack of the Show, and I wanted it so badly. And I think I was really young. I was 19 or 20, and I went in for an audition, and I was nervous as hell. I almost threw up. I could barely read the script. And they did the thing. I'm like, okay, thanks, thank you very much. And next, and I stopped them. I'm only doing this because I want a job here. I really want to work here. You guys are awesome, and I'm just a kid, I know, but I really want to work here. And they're like, okay, thank you. We appreciate you saying that. And I kept trying, and I got an internship through my college. I saw some piece of paper on a wall saying, you want to be an intern at G4? If I hadn't seen that paper, I probably wouldn't have followed up. But I got an internship, thankfully, with a guy who was pretty cool at G4. It wasn't a department I wanted to be in, but I got my foot in the door, and I got to do other things. So if you guys do want to work for Machinima, which I totally understand because it looks like a lot of fun and stuff, you might come here and realize it's maybe not the place for you, or maybe you should start somewhere else, and through there you'll get experience and you'll find your way into Machinima. It's crazy. It's never the same for anybody, but that's just my little story. I hope it helps in some way. King Mofo 6277. Most comfortable controller in your opinion? I think it's the 360 controller, honestly. As I've grown older, the PS3 controller just seems kind of small and a little awkward at times, and the 360 controller just kind of works for 360 games and PC games, and even playing old PS2 games sometimes with emulators, and even Wii games. Wii games and GameCube games. You can actually play Smash Bros. With it, and it's not too bad. And that's not a console dig or anything like, oh, the PS3 sucks because the controller. It's preference. And I prefer the PS3 controller actually for certain games. Like God of War, it's perfect For that kind of game, it's ideal. For like Twisted Metal, perfect. Don't need to change a thing. Fighting games works really well. I actually really like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 on the PS3 controller over the 360. But for first-person shooters and most of the games that I play, I kind of just prefer the 360 controller. So that's my opinion. Don't hate me for it. Diddy's, what do you think is in the future for Call of Duty commentators? Will it just keep growing? I love your stuff. I think like most type of things, it's going to either evolve, change, or be gone forever. This is a industry, or I guess you can call it an industry, a type of media where it's changing every day. You know, it started out with machinima videos of people making silly videos, which I still love. We don't get as many of those. They're still around. But then it evolved into gameplay, and then it evolved into gameplay with commentary. Now, what's next? I don't know. But as long as we're around and we have a place for people to, you know, upload that stuff, I think we'll find out soon. So, to answer your question, I don't know. Sinister Cobra, can we be BFFs? Sure, of course. Why not? Maybe. I don't know. Plenty of Sweater, do you think there's any hope for Star Wars Battlefront 3 to be made, or KOTOR 3 for that matter? Obsidian could, if not BioWare. Battlefront 3 was almost going to be made by Free Radical, and then they got shut down, and they got absorbed by Crytek UK. Now, does that mean Battlefront 3 will get the rights reignited through Crytek, and the new Battlefront will be done in the Crysis engine? God, I hope so. Is that what's going to happen? Probably not. It's probably going to stay with Lucas or something like that, but I would love for that to happen. KOTOR 3, though, being made by Obsidian, I don't know, because, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Obsidian owned by Bethesda now? I may be wrong. I don't know. Maybe they're still independent because they worked on New Vegas. But we are getting KOTOR 3 in the form of the Old Republic, the MMO. It might not be what everyone was expecting, but from what I understand, you can play a lot of the game somewhat single player, which has me very excited since I can kind of play a single player story through multiple classes and not have to rush through with my friends or play in a guild and miss any story. The only thing that kind of upsets me about that is I have to pay a monthly subscription fee, which I'm not looking forward to. So maybe if it's $5 a month, I'd be a lot happier, but it's probably going to be like 10 or 15, and it's going to make me feel a little less inclined to keep my account going just so I can play a single-player game when I have free time. Next question, Mighty Gamble. Do you think video games will ever be considered works of art? I'm talking about things like Silent Hill 2 and Shadow of the Colossus. Well, those are two very good games that are definitely up there that people consider, you know, art or the art house style of game, but any game really can be considered a piece of art. Now, whether it's a game like Wanted, the video game, or King Kong, the movie, the video game, or something like that, okay, maybe that's more of a corporate tie-in. But really, art is in the eye of the beholder. That's a cheesy statement, but it's very true. What's art to you could totally be crap to me, and what's, you know, art to me, you could totally hate, or maybe you love it. I don't know. But I think games are art. It's an artistic way of telling a story most of the time and creating a world for you to explore and other people to. Basically, it's a world to evoke emotion, and to me, it's more artistic than other things that are considered works of art. And I think it's such a weird notion for someone to accept that this interactive waste of time, I'm using air quotes, you can't see it, is art. And there's definitely a collective of people who find video games to be art. I'm definitely one of them. And then you see other people who find creative outlets to kind of express things they've experienced in video games as art. I Am 8-Bit is a beautiful example. And I mean, just, you know, peruse DeviantArt, you'll find a lot of cool stuff of just, you know, this is what I experienced as a kid and this is my artistic rendering of it. And I think that's fantastic. So, yes, video games are art. T-Ray09, what improvements do you think the next gen of consoles must have to genuinely improve upon the current gen? I mean, really, it just comes down to, is it easier for a developer to develop for? Is it easy to access? And is there an easy distribution platform, meaning for independents? Right now, X&A and however PSN does it, doesn't seem very easy for independent developers to get stuff out there, and the PS3 is kind of like hard to develop for. I think they just need to simplify the process to get games out there for multiple people, and so we can get more games. I mean, the indie scene is blowing up, and we're seeing games like Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet, Bastion, some other games that are just like, they're made by small studios, but they're amazing. They seem like they have gigantic budgets. We need to see more of that kind of stuff And consoles just need to get more powerful, just to keep up with where PCs are, and in terms of being able to upgrade. That's all I really want. Renegade 182. What's your favorite quote ever from a video, game, book, or poem? Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything. I'll have to get back to you. AK or more. What is your favorite Pokemon? I think Charizard. I like him. Cyver, do you think the world would be a better place without religion? Tough question, sorry. Well, that's debatable. A lot of people would like to say that if there was no religion, there'd be no war, there'd be no killings, crusades, all that stuff, and that's fine and dandy, but religion has a place in this world for people who need it. I mean, I'm not the most religious person, but I know people who have found religion to be a comforting thing. It's that voice in the back of your head that tells you everything's going to be okay, and if you can find a collective of people who share those ideas and thoughts with you, of being, good to your fellow man and doing good and good things will happen to you, that's fine. Whether you want to call that, Catholicism or Muslim or whatever, as long as you're doing something that makes you feel like you're a better person or makes you do better things, and I'm not saying, killing a race of people is a good thing or anything like that, it's, basic human principles, then yes, it could be the world could use a little religion. It's just, there's no solid answer. It's all a big shade of gray. There's no black and white. So yeah, I can't really say, because who knows what this world would be like if we never had religion. I guess maybe you need it to kind of make people not kill themselves. Real life riddle. What is your favorite lunch meat? Turkey. Sinful Gamer. Hey, what's your feelings on the Saints Row the Third coming out? P.S. I like pie. I love pie too. My thoughts on Saints Row the Third. I'm very excited. I think that game's gonna rock. Fail Safety. Favorite Respawn host. I like Wood because he has the most infectious laugh ever. Renegade 182. Have you ever had a crazy hairstyle before? Like crazy. Big ups to you, man. Craziest ever. I think I dyed it black one time. My lady really liked it. Oh, you're emo. Cool. Whatever. That's probably the weirdest thing I've ever done. Liam Roberts, 93. After EA announced Battlefield will not be annualized, do you think Activision should follow suit and not release a new COD every year? No way. They're stuck on that track. They have 2.5 studios working on that franchise now, and soon it's going to be 3. You're going to start seeing, like, bi-yearly COD. That seems to be Activision's push. It's just quantity, quantity, quantity. Now, quality in that regard is debatable, but it's a moneymaker, and it's working for them. I think Battlefield is a series. I hope they don't do that to the Battlefield series, because I love it dearly, and I want them to take a few years to always improve it and change it. I mean, look at the leap from Bad Company 2 to Battlefield 3. It's phenomenal. It's crazy. So I can't see EA doing that anytime soon, but I think they were trying to do that with Medal of Honor and then Battlefield, and that didn't work out clearly. So I think they're trying to find another franchise that they can do that with. So every other year you're getting something that's a cool franchise. I hope it's just not too the same type of things. I don't want to keep going Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Infinity Ward. It's too much, and like right now I have COD fatigue. I think a lot of people do too, but at the same time, maybe the numbers are they're clearly in Activision's favor, and they love money, and as long as they have money, they can keep making the same game. It's a very vicious cycle. Mr. Woo Woo, chocolate or vanilla? Personally, I'm a fan of vanilla. Chocolate has its time and place, but I'm a plain white guy and I like vanilla. Luke Flannery, what's your opinion on marijuana? It's one of those things where maybe it's just kind of silly that it's criminalized. I don't really have any strong beliefs on laws or anything like that, but in my family, we all have a very strong belief that pretty much all drugs should just be legal. When you try to put a clamp on it, you have this war on drugs, which is very silly. I mean, I hate to get political and all this stuff, but it's true. It's actually, you look at what Blizzard did with the gold farming in WoW and how they basically are legalizing it in Diablo 3. It's kind of like, hey, maybe big government should look at this, because once you make something that's, you take something that's illegal and make it legal, and you can actually monetize it and, govern it, you could probably make a good buck on it. Whatever people do in the privacy of their own homes is their business. Once it starts becoming a problem outside of the home, then yeah, step in and clamp it down. But the way it's just so demonized, it's so silly. Especially marijuana. I have friends who definitely like to hit the bowl once in a while, and it doesn't do any damage. They just say obscure things and helps them sleep. So it's kind of I have a wide opinion on drugs, but marijuana is not a problem. I don't believe anyone really thinks that, at least anyone who's tried it. Johnny Royal 4400, what are your thoughts on Mass Effect 3 having some sort of multiplayer component? I don't know, I've been hearing rumors about this. If they do like a horde mode type thing, I'm fine with it, but if the whole game's multiplayer, that's probably going to kill it. But there haven't really been any indications of that, like doing co-op through the whole game, which kind of, in my opinion, co-op's getting a little played out. It's nice to have it when it's there, but it's not totally necessary, and I feel like I pay less attention to the story when I do play co-op. So make it a separate mode, totally fine with it. Jude, will you be going to PAX? And if yes, can you ask Frank O'Connor if there will be a beta for Halo 4? I am going. We are going to Halo Fest. We're covering it. Yes, I will ask that question. It's very good. Dumb Raccoon, who would win in a fight between Sonic the Hedgehog and Mega Man? Mega Man, he's got a gun. Colonel Hungry, if you could experience any video game as it were real life, what game would that be? I think it would probably be something from like the Zelda series, just because I love those towns, and just having like a small enclosed area would be kind of cool, where you can just travel and kill these monsters in between that just kind of poof and disappear. It's kind of cool. J.G. Bryan, who inspired you to get into film? I just like watching movies. I just love watching good stuff. David Fincher films I especially love. Luc Besson was a huge inspiration. I love David Lynch. There's just so many good movies out there, and it's just like, I want to do that too. And I try to just emulate people I like. Middle Dark, will you ever play Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions? Why or why not? I should. It's on the iPhone, right? I should probably give it a try. Typically, I'm not much of an RTS kind of guy. I know it's a different type of game, but it's just, I don't play a lot of those, and I really should. You're right. I need to do it. Actually, you only asked why or why not, but I should. So, blah. Adam Chinnis, what's your most anticipated game for Q4? Probably Skyrim. I have high hopes for that game, and I think it's, from what I've seen, it's going to be outstanding. Rob's Primetime, Adonkovic, do you think Assassin's Creed 3 will take place in a modern setting, and will Deus Ex be worth my €50? Thank you, Heart. Assassin's Creed 3, interesting question. Kind of hope they just go back further in time, kind of like what BioShock did. Go from, the interesting, what was it, like 40s or 50s, and now they're taking it even further back to like late 1800s, early 1900s, whatever it is. I love that. I love that fact that they kind of just, they were going one way and they just tricked us and they went a whole nother way. I want to see them do that with Assassin's Creed, where they went through the Crusades and then they went through the Renaissance. I want to see them just take a huge step back and stop going forward so much, and then maybe around the 5th or 6th game or something, then you'll be in, modern times, and then it'll become like Mirror's Edge, with Assassination. I think that'd be pretty freaking awesome. And Deus Ex, I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about that. PC Gamer got its review leaked. 94 out of 100, though it was an exclusive interview, so take that as you will. But early word is really good with that leak preview build that came out. A lot of people loved it, so if you're a Deus Ex fan, it sounds like you're getting a pretty good game. Galt Alexander, hey Adam, I was wondering if you could tell us some ideas that you have for improving IG Daily. Thanks, man, you guys are awesome. I should be talking to you guys about this. This is kind of a big deal. So we had a meeting, we're talking about what changes we can make. My big problem with IG Daily right now is it feels very rushed. I'm sure you guys get that a few times, but it's because of it's our schedule for the day. We get in the morning, we have to grab the headlines as soon as we can, and then that's our show. It's like we don't have any time to rehearse. It's just one take. We go through it. It's all improv. And it's fun for what it is, but I think we're missing out on a huge audience with that. And by that I mean like other blogs and other media outlets. And by just having it being myself and then always a random host kind of limits our options, and it limits our audience, definitely. So think of what we're doing right now, which seems to be like an impromptu podcast, and changing it to something that's like the Daily Show. So imagine now, I mean, nothing of this is final, but this is kind of the idea we're playing with. So like, imagine I'm the host, I'm the anchor, I'm keeping the show together, rather than me being this know-it-all who covers all these headlines and just kind of basically struggles through a script. and trying to work with somebody who is, never really consistent. It's just me hosting the show, and I keep my strong opinions on what I know and what I know well. Now, for the headlines, we want to keep the news going, so we cut to an editorial guy who's just VO with B-roll, which is just gameplay, whatever video, of your headlines for that day. So you're getting your news, you're getting all that stuff. Now, maybe we talk more in depth about one of those stories. So rather than just going off on a tangent on a bunch of news stories, we pick that one story. So example, Borderlands 2 gets announced. Now let's talk about Borderlands 2 for a good couple of minutes and get into the stuff you guys care about. That's really what I want to do, and just elaborate on those things. Now then maybe we cut to a segment of something from IG Extended or a VGR, some kind of review. Because my department works on these mini shows. IG Extended is one of them, where we go to a convention or we go to some kind of special event, and then it just lives on its own. And a lot of times people don't even know that video exists. And sometimes it's something really good. Like we did the audio of Dead Island, which it got picked up a few places, but it kind of sucks that it has to live on its own and fight on its own with, not a lot of promotion on it. And then we also handle video game reviews. Now, it's not exactly Inside Gaming branded, but my department works on it. Now, why can't we have a bit of a review for a highly anticipated game in an episode in the week? So really what this whole thing is building up to is, imagine what X-Play is and what X-Play could, everything it kind of represents, which is it's a show. It's a gaming show, it's a television show about video games. Now, that's a hard sell for most gamers, because most gamers do not watch television, but I think what X-Play does is very ambitious, and they have a lot of good moments. Now let's cut out all the crap, all the filler, and just cram it into whatever time we have, because we're internet, we can get away with that. So imagine all the good stuff you love about shows like X-Play or Spike TV, what do they call it, Gamehead a while ago, which just sounds very funny. Fuck you, helicopter, seriously. This is very important, I have to get through this. Fucking helicopter, North Hollywood, helicopter shit. Just catch the guy already. Anyway, so just imagine we're making, it's like a good mix of like X-Play and The Daily Show, where we're still being funny, we have skits, we have all the stuff you guys love, but it's more organized. So we have like a script supervisor, and we can actually it's actually clear what we're covering, rather than it's just kind of stumbling through these scripts, which I hate doing. So this way, I'm still caring about you guys, the main audience. I don't want to lose you guys, because you've made everything that we've done what it is. But this way, we have opportunities where we can actually bring on somebody to talk more in depth with. So say like, okay, there's a story on Gears of War, or maybe, I don't know, Bulletstorm 2 gets announced, and Cliffy B's in town. Well, lordy, we can just have Cliffy B come on the show, talk to him for a couple minutes on there. I mean, we don't have to talk that much about the game. We can just talk about whatever. But now all of a sudden Kotaku goes, oh, hey, Cliffy B was on this show, and now more eyes are on it. And it's just trying to capture that audience and try to get more people to view it. And I hope that makes sense to you guys. So, long story short, which is kind of counterintuitive to everything I've said right now, we want to keep the show as it is, but just broaden our horizons and try to get a bit more industry credibility. And the way it is right now, it's just a couple of guys goofing off. And I want it to feel more like a well-produced show, and keeping that IG feel. I never want to have a teleprompter. I don't want me to be, reading a script while looking at you. Everything I say comes from my brain or something I wrote earlier that's memorized. I never want it to I don't want to be a puppet who's just reading some piece of paper, or just reading a screen that something I didn't write. I really don't care for that. So as long as it feels kind of raw and kind of real, but it still seems highly produced and just a good show, something that maybe you could watch instead of X-Play, because maybe one of you guys have that void where you're like, I want my video game news, I want to be entertained. And I watch X-Play, and it kind of does a good job, but I'm not really feeling it, because it just feels so, overproduced and just, very Hollywoody and just kind of fake. Hopefully this show, this new IG Daily format, it will fill that void for you guys and give you something that you want. So, a long explanation, but if you have any suggestions, leave a comment. Let me know. It's always going to be a change. It's always going to be a work in progress. But I'm hoping we really nail it on the head this year sometime. R7 Zach, what kind of graphics card does your computer have? Someone asked this earlier. I'll just say it here though. It's a GTX 580, I believe. 590 was a little too expensive, but it does the job well. Henner's 27 How long do you think it will be until Machinima expands into Europe? Inside Gaming is awesome, by the way. Thank you very much. I hope soon. We have a sales guy in the UK, I know that, but we do need to have a European presence now. Maybe Machinima pays for me to move to Germany or something like that, and I can, I don't know, run the Machinima Europe office? I don't know. Who knows? That's me doing some wishful thinking, sadly. I'm being very coy about it. X Aphid Almighty X. On what system will Skyrim be most popular? I don't know. I think it's going to do fine on consoles. I'm hoping that the PC audience is huge because that's probably going to get the most support in terms of mods and things like that, obviously, because you can do mods and the modding community is huge. So, I mean, games like Oblivion are still being played, probably more, I would say. God fucking damn it, helicopter. Anyway, just to clarify, the system that allows for modification and long-term replayability typically does the best, so it's probably going to be most popular on PC because people will be playing it for a very long time, as, you know, people do skin packs and stuff like that, and other changes. I mean, look at that video that came up recently with that Tiny Tim mix with the Burger King guy just running around doing weird shit. It's awesome. Dirty Monkeys, did you have any role models or idols growing up as a kid? If so, who? Off the top of my head, my biggest role model was Phil Hartman and Norm Macdonald. I grew up watching Simpsons and Saturday Night Live, and I really looked up to those guys. And I think the saddest I'd ever been as a kid was when I heard that Phil Hartman died. And it still makes me sad to this day because that guy was so talented and he died in such a tragic way. And he was seriously one of the funniest guys in the world. And it just, like, it really depresses me that he went out that way. And it's such a sad story. And Norm Macdonald still to this day is one of the funniest guys. I mean, hey, there's a guy with a nasally voice who's sarcastic, and who better to look up than that? And he did the best weekend updates ever. If you've never seen it on SNL, highly recommend checking those out. But yeah, those are two heroes growing up for me, and still are in a lot of ways. Dirty Monkeys also wants to know, will you go to prom with me? No, I wish I could. Maybe I can send you over a mail order bride or something. Tixel Pities, will you be attending PAX? If so, what do you look forward to? Yes, I am definitely attending PAX. It'll be right after Gamescom. Looking forward to hanging out with the fans. That's the big thing we do every year, and we're pushing that angle much more this year than ever before. So just hanging out with fans and just hanging out. I love that. I think it's going to be really cool, just meeting the guys who we actually make the shows for. It's so much more refreshing to actually meet the people who leave the comments, you know, and watch our stuff than it is just to, you know, send messages. I like doing this stuff for you guys, but it's just, I don't know, there's a big wall there, and I love meeting you guys in real life. It's really cool. Jung Werther, you linked a vid with some dude saying something like Djibouti in 1080p over and over. What was that? It's confused me for weeks. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe it was that one guy. I think he was a machinima director who he put up a bunch of Battlefield 3 alpha footage, even though the NDA clearly said, do not do this. And then I think he made a video saying, I felt I had a right to do this because that's what I believe in. It's like, okay, well then EA believes in taking your account down, so sorry. Maybe that's the guy. I don't know. But, yeah, I think that was the dude. I had no idea he was a machinima director either, so it was kind of funny seeing that. Like, oh, really? This stuff's going on? Oh, needs some better oversight. Movie Z LFC. Hi, Adonkovit. What is your favorite Summer of Arcade game this year so far? He didn't say so far, but it's not over, so I just added that part. Bastion, though. Bastion is an amazing game. If you haven't played it yet, check it out. Had a funny conversation with Fwiz, actually. He started playing it. I was watching him from the beginning, and he's like, you know, yo, bro, you told me this game's awesome. And I'm like, it is awesome. He's like, yeah, I'm playing it. It's whatever. I'm like, play with headphones on. Just play the game a little bit more. He's like, yeah, whatever. It's kind of boring. Seriously, a day later, he's just like, basically, fuck you, Kovic. This game's awesome. I'm sorry I doubted you. So, if Fwiz, who's a funny guy, because he's like so Call of Duty, but he loves WoW. But if that guy can love Bastion, anybody can. Do yourself, play the demo at the very least. The game is amazing. Game of the Year material right there, I promise. Sam Boomer, did you play Demon's Souls? And are you looking forward to Dark Souls? I started playing Demon's Souls. Still need to finish it. I have it on my PS3, rocking and ready to go. Last thing I did was jump off of a staircase because I saw a ghost do it. And I was like, yeah, I should do that. But that game is tough. But yeah, totally looking forward to Dark Souls. And I'm glad it's a spiritual successor, not a direct sequel. So I could probably just jump into that game and not have to finish Demon's Souls. So yeah, I think Dark Souls is going to be freaking cool. Gregory Kavakaluk. Falling down. London Bridge is falling down. My Fair Lady. Ah, yes. Oswald. Do you play Minecraft? Not as much as I should. I'm probably going to wait for that 1.8 update, or probably just wait for the game to go, final version. When it does, go for like final retail, then I'll play it a bit more. But right now I don't really see a lot of need to. It's like the whole people who build stuff in like Gmod. I like the machinima angle of making videos and stuff. Like we did that one episode of IG Weekly like that, and kids loved it. I like that kind of stuff, but I'm not the creative type who can build stuff out of blocks. I've seen some great art, and I love what the community's doing, but it's just not the game that I can really invest a lot of time into right now. But of course, I'll get into it eventually. Krishna C. Patel. Hi, I made this Twitter account just so I kinda you like a bro. How do you feel about the smiley face? Hopefully good. Yeah, dude. Go for it. Jungwerther, what's Twitter like with 10,000 followers? How many tweets do you get per hour? What's your philosophy on reading and replying to them? It's been just kind of a steady climb. I haven't really noticed anything different from when I had 5,000 followers to 10,000 followers. It's cool. It's a cool number. That was really exciting when that happened. But, surprisingly, I don't get a lot of @replies. It's more usually when I post something that people reply, especially when I do the Q&A questions. Like, it just blows up. That's why I go through so many of these questions once a week. But typically, I reply to people who ask a good question. I'm always happy to reply most of the time. I typically won't reply to something that's just kind of like a troll question, just like, you gay, bro? Like, not really going to spend a lot of time on that. But really, it just comes down to if you do a good question, I'll reply or retweet or something like that. But I don't get a lot of messages throughout the week. Just from the Q&As. Those are where a lot of it comes from. You guys are just eyeing me, waiting for me to say stuff. A lot of people don't go out of their way because I have really cool fans who typically aren't jerks. Mervinberg, of all the gaming conferences, E3, GDC, QuakeCon, PAX, and so on, which is your favorite? PAX by far. PAX is a very awesome experience. Gamescom would almost be better because it's like a perfect mix of PAX and E3, because it's strictly business gaming, but then it's also totally for the fans. And it's a much bigger convention than I think any of the other conventions I've been to. It's just wider. I don't really know how to explain it. Maybe it's just a much bigger building. But it has like raves and stuff going on. It's really amazing. But PAX is so cool just because I speak the language, obviously. And it's a lot of local fans. So PAX Prime, for some reason, I don't know why. I love PAX East. It's great. I have nothing against that. But I love Seattle. It's such a cool place. And I always meet a lot of cool fans. And it's just always nice to meet someone who's just like, oh my god, I love everything you guys do. And they'll shake your hand and they're really courteous. And it's like, it's such a good feeling. I don't know. It's really nice to meet you guys, and PAX just, for whatever reason, holds a special place in my heart just because that was our first convention, I think, where we met a lot of true fans, and it always has good memories, and I'm kind of sad some coworkers are not going this year who have gone in the past, and it makes me really sad, but yeah, definitely PAX by far. Don't know if I've conveyed that enough yet. You Santana 90. Do you enjoy what you are doing? Oh, of course I do. I have a fantastic job. I love everything I do. Can't complain. I bitch from time to time if I'm not happy with quality and stuff, but that's just me kicking myself because I know I could be doing a better job. But I love that I have that opportunity to actually do a better job. So yeah, totally love what I'm doing. McLovin02. Who would win in a fight? You, Matt, or Kale? Matt, by far. He takes Muay Thai. He is a Taiwanese fighter, though he's kind of scrawny. I still think he'd kick my ass. Nuno Gavazzi, do you speak Portuguese or Spanish? Because numero is a Portuguese word and maybe Spanish. Not sure. Very little. I live in California, so you have to speak a little Spanish. Like Rojo Coche. Yeah, and I took a semester of Spanish. I don't speak it very well. I think I know more German than I actually know Spanish. Granny Basher 7, when did you lose your virginity? Between the ages of 10 and 20. Figure that one out. X-Altered, can we ride a tandem bicycle? I will. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot harder than it looks. I promise you that. We did it once in a video. It's a pain in the ass, but yeah, dude, it's your funeral. Let's give it a try. Charlos4256, do you think the Xbox version of Minecraft will implement mods? If so, how? No, I don't think so. Microsoft has a very closed system. If anything, it's going to be DLC. So, if you like paying for stuff, it's going to be grand. But if you want free texture packs, you're probably better off on the Java version on the PC. Blackhura84, hey Adam, how can someone work for Machinima as in working in the office? Do you need some kind of degree? I get asked this question a lot, actually. I don't think any degree is really necessary. My boss actually put this in a very interesting way. He says he's never actually hired anyone based on their degree. He hires them based on their work. So I believe this, especially now more than ever. You will get, in a creative atmosphere, you will get hired based on your work a lot easier than you will based on any kind of college degree. So if you do something that works well with this company, or it fits what we're looking for, which, I mean, you've seen a lot of Machinima videos. If you show you're capable of writing, producing, voice acting, all that stuff, then you're probably going to get noticed a lot better that way. I'm not telling you to drop out of college. College is great. It's a good backup plan. Good to have that degree, but no degree is really necessary to work there. And we will typically let people know when we're hiring and what we're hiring for. So keep your ears open. Supreme Sunday, a little late for the Q&A, but when you have time, why don't you do porn? I don't think I'd make a very good porn star. I'm a little too shy. Wouldn't go over well. Now, whether that means I have a big dick or not, I'd rather not talk about it, but don't think I'd be a good porn star. I'd probably be a pretty good actor, though. I would love to be the... I don't know, I'd just be like Orgasmo, where the stunt cock comes in. All I have to do is come in and say a funny line or something, and then some other black dude could fuck that chick's until her teeth fall out. Julio G, PC question here. Do you think or know if Battlefield 3 will be a proprietary toward NVIDIA or ATI video cards? I don't think legally they're even allowed to do that. They always have the somewhat sponsorship of, like, you know, NVIDIA, or the little opening video thing. Which I believe EA works with closely, but there should be no proprietary thing there at all. You should be able to play it on either video card, should be fine. Charlos4256 again, do you think Machinima will ever have a Machinima KO or something for fighting games? Because they don't fit in Respawn like any FPS. Machinima KO sounds fucking awesome. That is a really good idea. Yeah, we need that. Though, last conversation I had with some of the programming guys, they said new channels are done, which is kind of a shame. I mean, maybe we retire one of the lesser channels, like trailers. I don't think Machinima Trailer really does that well, or gets a lot of attention, doesn't really have any shows made for it, so maybe Machinima KO can take over for that. But that's an excellent question, and that's an excellent suggestion. You should get full credit for that, sir. Just Gaming 107, big fan of the show, Kovic. What was your impression of Bungie's VidDoc, and what do you think their next game will be? Well, I enjoyed that VidDoc a lot. I love Bungie. I've said this before, they're like the Pixar of gaming. Their personalities are just, they're so infectious. You attach to these guys. I don't know, Bungie's really good at, like, making mini celebrities out of their game development staff. Maybe they're just all really well spoken, or they're easy on the eyes. I don't know what it is. But watching that VidDoc was really amazing. For an hour long, to get 20 years of Bungie put into that was great. I highly recommend watching it if you haven't yet, even if you have any inclination towards Halo in any way. Their next game, it's codenamed Tiger. You see a little bit of it in that VidDoc. I hope things go well. I hope it does well. What it's about, though, I don't know. It looks like they're creating a new world. It looks a little bit like Firefall, a little bit, and it sounds like they're going to do some MMO stuff or something completely different. I mean, look, these are the guys who basically created the party system for Xbox Live, so give them, 100 to 200 more people and somewhat of an unlimited budget from Activision, who knows what they can do. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring. Hopefully it's going to be at next year's E3. Next up, Sky Me High Me. Do you think it is still possible to become a success in the gaming community? Yeah, just do something that's special. I think a lot of the disconnect that comes from a lot of people is like, oh, if I just do what everyone else is doing, I'll be famous, I'll be successful. It's like, no, maybe you need to do something different. Yahtzee figured it out. It's like, everyone's doing video game reviews. Well, let me do something that's different. And it is different, and it's a success. You look at Total Biscuit, another guy who I really like. It's looks like, oh, everyone's commentating. Well, let me change it up. Or maybe he started it first. I don't know. But the way he got my attention is I was like, oh my God, this guy's like a soccer commentator or football. Sorry for the rest of the world. This guy's like a sports commentator for gaming, and he has a great voice. And I thought that was fantastic. So just use your talents to your advantage. That's the best thing you could do. For me, it was I like covering the news, but I hate the way everyone covers the news, and I'm a very sarcastic guy, and I'm kind of a smart ass, so I use that to my advantage, and that's kind of what I'm known for. It's like having this very dry, silly, kind of obscure view on the news and the gaming industry itself. So just find what works for you, and you'll find an audience. That's the best advice I can give you. The Stephanator, what happened to Critical Flaw? Long story short, we just got really busy. Kale started ETC, IG for me started going twice a week and then daily. It's just we don't have a lot of time. We actually just talked about this the other day, I think yesterday, when we were at Disneyland. We're saying like we still get questions about this. Oh, Kale showed me a meme comic he got of why you know Critical Flaw, and it's something we wanted to do. We totally set it up for a second season to be inside an office. The whole thing was my character got a job as a game reviewer in New York or something like that, whatever, and Kale, in some capacity, is supposed to be like my boss or something like that. Never really acknowledged that we know each other, so it's almost like a fresh start. That was kind of the idea we wanted to go with it, and we should totally make it. I agree. It's just we need time, and it's the way things are day to day right now. We're so slammed, and I hate that. I want us to have like at least 2 to 3 hours free in the day that we can devote to something like Critical Flaw, because it needs to be written, it needs to be produced, because it was a cool show, and I want to do more of it. Dax Tourette, how exactly do you make money in machinima.com? Like ads or something? From my understanding, that's how it's all done. I have no part in any of that, but we have an ad sales team. Their job is to sell. We have sales. And I think we're doing well. I don't know. I'm not a part of any of that, but hopefully we're doing fine so we can keep our jobs. Siggy Biggy, do you think you could talk in German accent more? I'm just happy no one was offended by my horrible, mean German accent. I took a Rosetta Stone training last year before I went to Gamescom, and I picked up like a little bit of an accent because everything's just like schwimmen and rennen and the trinken and the auf Wiedersehen and guten Tag, and like you kind of pick it up, and it's very just like it's very rough and it's very cool, and it's kind of mirrors English a little bit, so it's kind of easy for me to learn. So maybe I should be doing more of a German accent, but it kind of just sounds like mini Hitler when I do it. It's just, wie wann? Guten Tag, das werden wir trinken. And it's just, someone's going to get offended by that. And Germany will then invade the U.S. It's fantastic. The Fallen King, how long does the whole process of recording, editing, and revise take for IG Daily? Really, I'll walk you through a whole episode of IG Daily. So I get in the morning, 9:30-ish, 9:45. Lawrence, one of our editorial guys, typically will create a script of all the headlines that we need to cover. I go through it. I'm always checking news on Google Reader and Reddit and other things, and I'm bookmarking those. So I'll add the stories maybe I find. I always find kind of weird, obscure things, so I always want to throw those in there. So then around 10:30, 10:45, we film after we finalize the script. I usually pull a co-host, and then I'm like, all right, let's go. And they're typically not really well-informed what's going on, even though they're copied on the document. And then we go in, we film usually one take. Takes about 10 to 15 minutes to film. Try to do it shorter if we can. We just want to get through it really quick. And then the video goes to John, and then he has to cut it and finish it by 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then he gets that over to our deployment department after it's approved. Make sure there's no spelling mistakes. Sometimes those get through, and then it has to go back and it delays the upload time. And then once it goes through the whole pipeline of conversion and everything else like that, then typically it'll go up around 4 or 5-ish on any given day. Sometimes later if it took a while, but that's kind of the whole day. And then we just start working on the next day's episode, or we're just working on whatever other content that's video game reviews, extended content, stuff like that. So that's kind of a typical IG Daily, but that's going to change soon, so be excited. Drakester96, what do you think of Minecraft coming to the Xbox 360? I think it's fine. I think Minecraft on more platforms is fantastic. That's what we need. Minecraft should be on everything. It's a cool concept. It was beautifully executed and should be everywhere. Centray, probably too late, but that's fine. What are your websites you check every day? E.g., for me, I check Otaku and YouTube subscriptions. I can just pull up my reader right now, my Google Reader account. I'm always on N4G. I fucking hate that website, but I could always pull headlines from there, and I just kind of weed through there. Always going through, what else? I have the Inside Gaming News blog, cover that. I have to read up on what we're doing. Picky Geek, Kotaku, Rock, Paper, Shotgun, Destructoid, Joystick. I have a website called Instant Watcher, which just brings me up to date on what's on Netflix. I got Gizmodo, who I freaking loathe, but whatever, I have them on there. Engadget, Lifehacker, Giant Bomb, IO9 for sci-fi news. I have game trailers on there for whatever videos get up. I have Machinima, YouTube's account. Penny Arcade, HaloBungie.org, Bungie, the Apple blog, Apple Insider, Mac Rumors, just for all my Mac stuff. And then I still have Play 'em Off Keyboard Cat on here, though I think that website's been shut down. And the Daily What, which is awesome. That's kind of like I'm getting to the bottom of my my RSS feed. And then I'm always on Reddit. Reddit's got a lot of good stuff, great community most of the time, and that's where I am pulling stuff. And then, YouTube, but I've so many videos coming through the subscription feed that I kind of get lost in there sometimes. J.N. Dwyer, is studying social media a good idea to get into your industry? Also thinking about studying Simp Sci 2, also a good bad idea. Social media, yeah, it's a big thing right now. It's probably a good thing. This is kind of the time, though you got to kind of look at what's going to be the next thing. It's going to be like social media 2.0 or like social integration. So yeah, great thing to study and a good trend to be able to understand. If you want to get, this is actually just a bit of advice for anyone out there trying to get into like a media industry. Right now, digital asset management is huge. Those people are making a lot of money for systems that a lot of people don't understand. So if you want to get into any kind of media job and do something where you're going to make a lot of money, definitely look into digital media assets. That is a good thing to look into. Mervenberg, what do you think that Valve will announce at Gamescom? Dota 2 date, a new IP, or can we hope for a Half-Life 3 announcement? It's going to be all Dota. I think the European audience is huge. I mean, come on. Look at the song Dota by Bass Hunter. It's awesome. Yeah, I don't think Half-Life 3, that doesn't seem the right place. They're going to do it either on their own. They're going to do some kind of crazy ARG. And when it happens, it's going to be huge. You can just expect that. Simming7560. Hey Adam, how does your Inside Gaming / Dead Pixel character differ from your real life counterpart? I think Dead Pixel is a lot more louder and sarcastic. He didn't start out that way because I was very quiet because I'm very weird about recording audio around people. Like even now I'm at home but I still close the door. I don't like people to listen in on me. And my Inside Gaming, like normal IG Daily voice is just very, it's like this. It's just, hey, how you doing? But then Dead Pixel's like, hey everybody, how you doing? It's like, it's kind of hyper and a little crazier, and then it's just like I don't know, I take it, it's like me times 20. It's very strange. It's like Super Saiyan Adam. That's kind of what Dead Pixel's become, and it's just been a lot more snarkier and like meaner, I guess. But I mean the IG Daily is pretty much, that's me in real life. That's how I act. This audio, this is how I am. I'm very just kind of normal, laid back, not really uptight or anything. Sometimes I am. I'm trying to be a lot less negative in the workplace. I think I was being kind of a dick to some people, so been trying to reel that back in a little bit. But yeah, Dead Pixel's just a loud caricature of me, except when I get real, like I did on the Saturday episode where I apologize for fucking up the previous week on the news. Swash Shromp, can you pronounce my Twitter name correctly? I don't know, did I? That was a good troll question. Good job. EPO worker, I'm starting high school tomorrow. Any tips? You're awesome, by the way. I don't know. I fucking hated high school up until the end. Try not to align yourself with any clique, though maybe that's social suicide. I don't know. I found out pretty much anyone you hang out with in freshman year are not the people you're going to hang out with in senior year. And just make sure your friends are really your friends, because you're gonna meet people who are just gonna like fuck you over in the end some way or the other. It always happens. And then just do different activities. Like, this probably may surprise somebody, but when I was in high school, I played football, I played lacrosse, and then I was in the chess club. I was also in the AV club. I just tried everything, just because I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do in life. Clearly, it wasn't sports, because fuck that. Have fun in high school, though. It's gonna be an interesting 4 years for you. Sean the OK one. So there's internet speculation about a new powerful line of graphics cards from NVIDIA and ATI. Do you think you would upgrade? Not right now, because from what I understand, even people who had like an older card, the NVIDIA, it's like the 8800 GT or whatever. I don't really follow graphics cards. I have a very basic understanding of them. But people who have that can still play like Crysis at full settings. So I'm not really afraid to upgrade anytime soon, since I got a pretty beefy card as it is, and it does awesome work. Bare Naked Clown. Play League of Legends again? No! Fuck that game. Not my thing. I know a lot of people like it. I played it just to get into it, but Jesus, it's not for me. And someone brought up a good point. I think it was Lawrence from our editorial team. Said, you could tell that game was made, not League of Legends, well, it carried on League of Legends, but Dota, it was made because it was limited by the system of Warcraft 3. So, like, just certain ways the game performs. And that carried over to other things like League of Legends and hopefully not Dota 2, but who knows. I'll give Dota 2 a try just because it is Valve. And it is, like, the original team who made Dota, but I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it. And I've heard the community behind League of Legends is, like, just a huge collective of asshats who just, they're like, fuck you for not knowing how to play this game automatically. So I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to stick to what I know. I mean, I still even get that from, what's it called? Team Fortress 2. There was one of the top comments were like, oh, you didn't know how to open your loadout with M. You're like, dude, when I started this game, I didn't know how to switch classes. There's no tutorial. There was nothing. I had to learn this thing from scratch by myself. Now, yeah, there's forums and stuff, but give me a break. Damn it. Maybe I'll play League of Legends again. Just maybe I had a bad experience. Who knows? Caboose LTD. What's your favorite movie? It's a tough one. I have a lot of favorite movies. God, it's always a tough question. I'm sure it's like a classic. Oh yeah, wait. Favorite movie of all time? RoboCop. That I know there's a lot of classy movies out there, but RoboCop is my favorite movie. From beginning to end, it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't care what you say. I love it. And our final question comes from Sneaky Mode with, was everything worth it? Yes. Everything up until the very last moment. Okay, people. That's it. I'm done. This has been 70 minutes of recording that I've done for this week's Q&A, number 9. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this hasn't been broken up into too many videos, but hope you watched every single one, because I love you guys, and I know you love me. So until next time, I'll see you during the week, see you during the weekend, at all times, always. I'll catch you later.